This is Culture, Communication, and Brand Moments with Shelby Joe Long, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Culture, Communication, and Brand Moments is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Shelby Joe Long.
Hi, Shelby Joe Long here today, CEO of Business Dynamics, Senior Vice President of the Strategic Advisor Board, here today to talk to another genius entrepreneur that has created a business out of their expertise. And today we have the opportunity to talk to Jim Saliba, leadership coach, and also recently published author about his expertise that he's developed over many, many years in corporate America and the technology industry. Going to tell us all about that journey and the leadership lessons he learned from that. So, Jim, welcome to the podcast today. I'm excited to have you here.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I already did a little brief introduction, but why don't you give us some more details? Tell us about your business and your background, and give us kind of the 30,000-foot overview of your business.
Well, I could tell you kind of a history. I've been in IT. I started out as a software developer, like many other people I knew, grew to be a vice president in this $4 billion tech company many years ago, and decided to go out on my own after that. That was right around 2009, started my own business to help other organizations make their software development better. And I started doing that subcontracting to boutique consulting firms. But what I started finding out, it was less about the engineering and the boots on the ground, and it was mostly about the leadership and the disconnect between those two things that got me really going and starting to build a business of coaching executives and how to make things better.
Sure. Is your leadership coaching, is your idea to focus in the tech industry since there's such a need there?
Well, that's where I spend most of my time, yes, especially because I've been there. I know the terminology and the things that they go through. But I also work with people in other industries. Finance especially is the next one, because we have the same sort of problems. We're all humans, and that leadership gap exists. I see, for example, talking about tech, a good coder becomes a tech lead, and then after a while we promote them and make them a manager. We lose on both ends because we don't have a good manager that we taught, and we lost a good technical person. A couple years go by, there's a shuffle in the organization, we lost some people, there's a spot open, we make this person a director. Well, they haven't really learned to be a manager yet, but we make them a director, and they're really good on the technical side of their job, but they need help on the leadership side. And what happens often is now they feel stuck. They can't move up. They might get in their review, oh, you need to be more strategic, or you need more executive presence, but we don't really say what that is. Right.
I also a leadership coach myself and work in the communication space, and I work with health entrepreneurs. I work with coaches and also a communication professor too. So all of it I see is rooted in those communication skills and stepping into your leadership role and understanding your strengths and weaknesses. And that just seems to be something that is missing in the leadership conversation. And it sounds like there's similar issues across many industries.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would agree with that. It's interesting that we spend over $1 billion a year on leadership training within North America. And that's barely scratching the surface. But we expect, at least corporate America, that we send somebody to a class for 3 days and they come back and now they're an expert in leadership. But it doesn't work that way. In fact, studies have shown unless they start using that information right away, within 7 days, 70% of what they learned is gone.
Right.
That's why coaching is so great, because we get people to do things and try things.
Right. And you have accountability, and there's sustainability with it, and there's checking in. All of those things are so important. And
yes.
Because we don't change our habits overnight. So
No.
it's in communication skills aren't learned overnight. You have to practice them. So yeah, that's interesting. So you have noticed a deficiency. You're addressing a deficiency. So tell me about, you have your book published. Tell us about your book first before we get into your other monetization opportunities.
Okay, so the book was an interesting journey. People ask me how long it took, and I always say it depends when you start counting. When I started writing it, it probably was over 3 years ago, until the time that I actually hired a book coach who really helped me get over my own problems, my own hurdles that I put in front of myself. I am a world-class procrastinator, just like anybody else. So once I did that, it really helped me focus on what I wanted to do. The word challenge came up in a conversation actually with a group of authors that she had. And that just took off for me. It gave me a real direction. And that's how I came up with the title, The 6-Step Leadership Challenge, and the 6 steps of making things better, which is kind of a blueprint of my coaching.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And tell me about the other things that you're thinking of. What's in the future for this?
Oh, yes. So now I have the book. I never thought that I was going to become a millionaire selling the book. I wanted to make a business around it. So now I have an online course that I'm putting together and starting to drive my next challenge and get out this year. And then I have companion books and probably online classes that will come out with this. How to use the 6-step challenge for your next promotion. How to use the 6-step challenge to grow your career or build a new team. So there's all add-on things that I will be adding on to that. And I'm really looking forward to getting that information out, because I can only talk to so many leaders. And this is great information for people to have, and I'm just trying to find other outlets to get to there.
Spoken like a true entrepreneur, for sure. Well, congratulations on finishing the book. It's as a fellow published author, it's no small feat to publish a book and then navigating that whole process. And I also understand and like recognize how important it is to work with somebody to do that. That's so important. And just the fact that you're making your ideas accessible to more people and scalable, and it's stepping into a thought leadership. And I think that's really important. So that's, I commend you on all that business development.
Thank you. So in my head, I'm looking at it this way, that somebody can work with me 3 different ways. You could buy the book and do it on your own. You can buy the online course, which gives you some videos and worksheets and so on, gives you more help, and do the rest on your own. Or you can mix that with coaching. And so it will be 3 different levels of access to me.
You're speaking my language. That's what I work to. It just provides, well, and particularly in this online world, there's just so many opportunities with that. So that's great. That's great. So tell me your vision for your business, of where you see yourself in 5 years.
So I've been in corporate America for many years, almost 40 years. So this is kind of stepping out and being able to do this more in my retirement. I don't see myself stopping work. I love working with people. I love coaching with people. But it allows me to do this in different ways, be accessible to different people, have an income stream coming in, but I can dial things up as I want to do more work, and I can dial things down as my wife and I want to travel and do things. So in 5 years, I see my books going, I see my online classes going, the companion books plugging into that, traveling and coaching from all over the world now that I can do coaching just like this electronically.
Again, spoken like a true entrepreneur that wants to live the life of freedom and also be able to impact as many people as they can. So
That
I
sounds
resonate
great.
with all of those ideas. Well, Jim, let's transition a little bit. I wondered if you have any, because many of our entrepreneur listeners are maybe thinking about, I kind of want to take this step, but I'm not really sure what's next. Can you talk about one of your biggest challenges? And then we'll kind of transition that into some advice that you have for entrepreneurs.
Yes. So one of my biggest challenges was moving from corporate America where I had a team. At one point, when I was a VP, I had 200 people. I can get stuff done.
Yeah.
Now it's only 3 people. Me, myself, and I. And it's just hard to get things
They probably
done.
often debate with each other.
Yes, as I always say, I hate it when me and myself don't talk to each other. One's my left hand and one's the other hand, right?
Yeah.
And it's just hard to get things done. I build a virtual team using freelancers from different places, which actually holds me accountable, because once I hire somebody to do some work for me, I have to make sure I have the things ready for them to keep them busy. Otherwise, they keep charging, right?
Right.
So it helps me be accountable, and that's one way that I move things. Plus, I'm a coach. I believe in coaching. I take my own medicine. I did get a book coach. It took me a little while to do it. I do have a business coach that helps me, and this helps my accountability. Plus,
Absolutely.
it allows me to do brainstorming. So don't be afraid to get accountability buddies somehow.
I think that is such important advice for entrepreneurs or people that are thinking about transforming their genius into an income stream, because you're not the only one out there. There is guidance. There is a way to go about things. So reach out and talk to people about it. I think that's such an important piece of advice. Well, Jim, where can our audience find your information in your book? Where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on my website always. That's jamessaliba.com. Easy to remember. And you'll find all my stuff there, my podcasts that I belong to or been on, my blog that I give information on every Tuesday. You can find my book there. You can find me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the bigger social networks that I'm always involved in. You could find me there. I guess those are the 2 big places. And Twitter. Twitter's the other place.
Well, I'll make sure we include your LinkedIn and your website in the show notes so people can find you and find your book. Understand the 6-step leadership challenge. Can't say that very fast. But that's amazing. It's always fun to hear the story of having a book come to life and having your business come to life with all of those ideas. So
Yes.
I appreciate you coming on the podcast today and sharing with our entrepreneur and small business listeners that there are more opportunities for your ideas outside of just your book. Not just your book, but your book can be the foundation for many other ideas. And I appreciate that you told us your story. So thanks for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
And to all your listeners, I look forward to interviewing the next genius entrepreneur that has made a business out of their passion, their genius, so they can live the life that they want to. We'll see you next time, the next interview.
Thanks for listening to Culture, Communication, and Brand Moments with your host, Shelby Joe Long. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we will see you on the next episode.